Good morning, yogis. We are going to work on some standing balance poses today. Having said that, we are actually going to start off sitting down. So if you have a chair of any type is fine, and a strap or something that you can put around your foot would also be great. As you know, you can be creative. A towel, stretchy band, although a yoga strap is better because it doesn't give as much, which makes it a little harder. And a block, or if you have like a thick book. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to get that together. If you look at the names of the poses that I put on the list today, there's 3 of them that we're going to work on. And I put the Sanskrit as well as the English transliteration. So maybe by next week you will have them memorized. Speaking of next week, the JCA is opening next week, yay. And I hope to see many of you there. But we will continue to have these classes online, so you can still see us and take part. On Monday, you will not see Grant in his beautiful backyard listening to birds. Monday morning at 7, you will see me instead inside of my house without any birds. And Grant will be teaching on Wednesday mornings because of the scheduling change once the JCA opens. So I want to have you start off. We're going to begin with Garudasana, which is eagle pose. So you're going to take your right leg and you're going to lift it up, lift it up, lift it up, lift it up, and take it out and over your left leg. And then just try to wrap your legs around each other. Sit up nice and tall, breathe, and just feel kind of your outer thighs. We talked last week a little bit about having your outer hips kind of like move into each other. Can you feel that? And then go ahead and release. And then same thing on the other side. You can lift that leg because you want the leg to actually come up pretty high on the top part of your leg. And then you're going to try to wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap, knowing that eventually you're going to wrap that foot around. And squeeze your outer thighs together, sit up nice and tall, breathe, and just notice what you notice in your body. That's what this is all about. Just paying attention, having some awareness, and then go ahead and release that. We're going to do that once more. Lift up, wrap, and then you're going to try to manually move that underneath foot and get your toes to wrap around. If you have any trouble getting out, you can call me. I'll have my phone on after this broadcast. Hopefully you don't have to call 911. Breathe. Beautiful. And then go ahead and here's the part. Hopefully you can get out. Unwind. Go back to 2 feet, 2 legs, and same thing on the other side. And you may find that one side is a little bit more difficult than the other. This is my more difficult side. And it could be for many different reasons. It could start all the way up in your upper back. It could be something in your hips. It could be something in your knee, your ankle, your foot. We have a lot of different excuses. And I don't really mean excuses. Sometimes there are excuses, but that's all part of getting to know ourselves and how our body reacts. So if you don't always look like the picture in the books, although now we don't have books, so on videos or online, it's your body and it's your learning. Good, and then go ahead and release that, and then just come back to center. So that is the lower part of the pose. The upper part of the pose is bringing an arm up. I'm going to bring my right arm up. Take your left arm underneath, And as you're doing that, you don't want your shoulders to come up to your ears. You still want your shoulder muscles to release down. And then you see if you can bring your palms together. As you can see, my palms are not together. They're on their way, but I kind of have my fingers there. If you're doing this, that's fine. The main thing is that you're feeling that extension across your collarbones. Your shoulder muscles are releasing down, and you can still feel yourself lifting up nice and tall. And then go ahead and release that, and then same thing on the other side, other arm going underneath. Bring your fingers to your palm, bring them wherever they will go. Feel like you're kind of stretching this apart, out, like you're tying something that's moving away from the center. Good. And then go ahead and release that. Beautiful. We're going to do that one more time in our arms. So right arm up, left arm under, and then I just want you to slightly move your fingers down and then back up. And the idea is that as you're doing this, everything is staying pretty still, that you're actually working to open your shoulder joints a little bit more. Good. So you don't want to feel any pain in your shoulder joints. You just want to feel the ability to get a little bit more WD-40 in there. Good. And then same thing on the other side. And once again, you're just moving. You might find that one side is moving a little bit more easily than the other. Good. And then go ahead and release. Come to standing. You can have your chair nearby. If you have a wall nearby, that could also be helpful, but you can use neither. So I'm going to start off slightly bending in my knees, and that is going to allow me to get this right leg up, way high, way high, way high, and then to wrap that foot around, oh my gosh, and breathe. And then from there, we're going to wrap the opposite. So now I'm going to take my right arm up, wrap my left arm underneath, bring my palms together, and you are an eagle, a most beautiful, strong, open eagle. And then go ahead and release, breathe. And you may have, like me, gotten lucky on that first one, that first side. I have to say, sometimes I don't tumble over, but you might find me in a little bit of a heap. Just got lucky. So balance is not just about strength. It's not just about your vestibular system, but that does help. So that means using your eyes to look out in front of you is helpful. But I know right now we're just thinking about all those body parts trying to twist around. Second side, slightly bend in your knees. Go ahead and bring that left leg or the other leg up and over, up and over, up and over. I hope we didn't already do this side. And then from there, you're going to wrap that right arm over. And you want to extend, so trying not to collapse down, but lifting through, feeling that extension across your shoulders, across your hips. Breathe. And then go ahead and release. Let go. And that one is over with for now. So feel free to send me any love. That's always appreciated. But I also really like to hear your questions, your comments. So if you have any other questions about that pose, feel free to ask. Go ahead and take a downward facing dog before we go into our next balance. Fingers are spread. notice your arms. So in this last pose, we did not have our arms straight. We actually had them bent, but they started from an arm that was straightening, not by locking in your elbows, but really getting even more of an extension through your arms by thinking of even squeezing your elbows from the outside towards the inside. And then go ahead and bend your knees and come down. And we're going to go back to either our chair would be fine, or you could sit on a block or a blanket, anything that gives you a little bit of height, and you will need your strap. So blanket, it can be a block and a blanket. But the main thing is that I want you to be able to get access to putting this strap around your heel, right there. So we very specifically have our heel, and that means way down here, not up here. And then we have the ball of our foot, and that's what we're going to work with right now. So I'm going to start with my right leg. I'm going to put that strap right there at my heel, and then I'm going to extend through that leg. I'm actually going to show you from the side here. So I don't want you to do this to extend. So I just said that in that downward facing dog, we were really bringing our outer elbows and squeezing them from the outside in. And then can you extend up and out through that leg? So that you're really feeling that length through your leg that comes not from pulling, but from pushing, extending out from your heel. And then go ahead and release. If you're sitting in a chair, for the other side, I will demonstrate. So there's something for everyone. That strap is going to go around your other heel, left heel in my case. And then I'm going to extend out through that leg. And as I extend out, I'm holding that strap on either side in such a way that I'm getting very tall through my torso. I'm squeezing my elbows in at the same time that I'm extending out through that leg. Beautiful. And then go ahead and release. And then we're going to do that again, but this time sitting in your chair, trying to floor, whatever you would like. We're going to use the ball of our foot. So I'm taking my strap, and you can have this other leg wherever it helps you the most. So I'm putting the strap right here around the ball of my foot. So that's underneath my toes. And then from there, I'm going to extend, extend, extend. As I extend, I'm pressing into the strap. I'm straightening my arms. And that's how you want to feel that you extend out through that leg. This time I want you to add, if you have your other leg out straight, keep extending through that leg as well. And are you still extending through your heel as well as the ball of your foot? Good. And then go ahead and release. And then same thing on the other side. So this pose is eventually done standing and balancing. So we're using the standing leg, that will be my right one this time, as we extend through the lifted leg. And we're extending on both legs, feet, through our heel, through the ball of our foot. So ball of your left foot, or whichever one you haven't done yet, hold the strap in such a way that you can extend out through your heel, through the ball of that foot, particularly because that's where you have the strap right now. Sit up tall, sit up tall, sit up tall. Leg is straight. And then go ahead and release. Good. For some of you, it might be possible to actually take two fingers, put them inside of your big toe and your second toe. Bring your leg up and then extend through your heel, through the ball of your foot, and then press your big toe into your fingers. If this is not possible, just do the best that you can, but you want to do that still sitting up as tall as possible. So even if you're here, you don't want to be back there. You want to try to be right here, lifting, but pressing out, pressing out, pressing out. And then same thing on the other side. Fingers in between, kind of wrapping around, but not so much pulling on your big toe, but pressing out through that big toe, pressing out through that big toe, pressing out through that big toe, but also pressing out through your heel, pressing out through the ball of your foot. So these are some of the pointers for how, if you can't naturally do this, this is how your body might get there. Good. And then go ahead and release. And come into Uttanasana. So have your feet about hip width apart. Bend from your hips. Bend from your hips. Bend from your hips. Take yourself out and over. And then once you've gone as much as you can from that release in your hips, you can just let your arms go. Maybe hold on to your elbows and just release and feel that extension through the backs of your legs, but also that extension through your torso. And then go ahead and bring yourselves all the way back up. So now we're going to use a wall. If you don't have one, not a problem, but the wall could be quite helpful. And depending upon where you are, you might even use a chair, or if you wanted something even taller, I have like a stool here. And as you're at the wall, you're not leaning into the wall, but you're just using the wall so that you can I'm putting my left hand just slightly here at the wall to help me to be a little bit more upright and tall. You can use that same strap, and we're going to pick up our right leg. You can go from the inside, grab onto your heel. If not, you can be using that strap and then see if you can begin to extend out. Bring that back in. And if that wasn't possible, do not worry about it. So other side. So if I'm using my strap, I'm going to put it right there at my heel. I'm going to bring this arm inside. Other hand is at the wall. So again, I'm not leaning into the wall. And then I extend out, extend out, extend out. That arm is nice and straight. I'm up nice and tall, pressing down through my standing leg, pressing out through my lifted leg. And then you can see about, oh, can I balance? And then go ahead and release, and then bring that leg back down. Okay, we're going to do that once more. For those of you that feel like that was too much, then you can always put your leg up on a chair and just feel like you're extending out through your heel, through the ball of your foot, through your big toe, or have a little bit of a higher height to do that with. So I'm going to give you those options. Otherwise, we are going to go right to trying to get the ball of our, the big toe. Wish me luck. You can be near the wall. You're going to bring your arm in. You're going to grab onto that big toe. So here's the thing. It's not about pulling that shoulder in. It's about pulling through your big toe in order to straighten that arm as you're balancing on that strong standing leg. And then go ahead and release. So again, I got lucky. I don't always balance. Oh, and by the way, people who say if you can balance, then that means that you're balanced in your life. It's not true. There's not really that much of a connection. And balance changes every day. So, all right, how'd you do? Second side. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana is the name of this one. It's hand holding big toe. Or when you start, it might be strap holding heel, strap holding ball of foot, strap around big toe. So go ahead and bring that left leg up, pay attention to that standing leg, grab onto wherever you think might be helpful. So if I was going to use my strap, I might put the strap around the ball of my foot. I'm then going to pull, but I'm also pushing, pressing, lifting up tall, having that arm nice and straight. Of course, you're breathing. And then go ahead and release that just as gracefully as I did back down. Lovely, lovely. Okay. There's a variation to that pose. Why don't we take one more downward facing dog. So as you come down, spread your fingers, let your index finger be pointing forward. Think about those arms that we're really using to extend, 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 extend. And it's that extension, that ability to get your elbows not to lock, but those outer elbows to move in towards you. That gives you even more length and openness in your upper back. And can you also feel that extension through your legs? Your heels may not be touching the floor, but you can still feel that extension through your heels down towards the floor. Can you feel the ball of your feet touching the floor on each side? And can you even feel that extension through your toes and your big toes, even pressing down onto the floor? Go ahead and bend your knees, come down, and then just for a moment, have your heels up, and then sit back onto your heels with your toes up, just to get a little bit of movement inside of those feet. A little bit more flexibility. And then go ahead and bring yourself back up to standing. So you know that oftentimes we do that pose, bringing our leg up and then taking that leg out to the side. It may be that you are here. It may be that you are here. So whichever way you want to play with this, we're only going to do it this one time. Can you begin to extend that leg out to the side, out to the side, pressing in. And if you don't get your leg straight, that's fine. What you want is to feel that extension out, that extension down. Same thing, other side. You might even do it this way. I'm just showing you various ways that you can practice, because that's what class is about. You come to class to learn things, and then you go back and practice on your own. So you could grab on, if you're doing the full pose, you grab onto that big toe, and as I am extending forward, and I'm using all those things that we've talked about, my leg, my arm, and then from there you keep extending to bring that leg out to the side. And then you can bring that leg back to the center and then go ahead and release. So that would be a way to take that leg both forward, which is what we usually start with, out to the side. And then there is also a twist, but I'm not going to take you there today. Good. So we are now ready for Vrikshasana, which is a pose a lot of people are familiar with. So that is tree pose. And the way that I want you to begin with your tree pose is facing a wall, or if you don't have a wall, you can use a chair, and bring one leg up, take that leg out to the side, and then try and bring that foot as high up into that opposite leg, inner thigh, as you can. And you can actually hold on to your leg. It's not necessary to go into any of these arm positions, because right now it's about getting your base. And then go ahead and release that and just notice what that felt like. And then same thing on the other side. So I like having the wall here, because if our back is to the wall, we have a tendency to do this and lean. And what I want you to feel is that extension through. So other side, bring that other leg up. And you may find that one side is a little bit more open than the other side. You're trying to get that foot as high up as you can, right there into your inner thigh. If it doesn't go that high, then you let it go where it does go. It's probably best not to have it pressing into your knee, so then you might want to go just below your knee, but you want to feel that opening coming across your hips. And then go ahead and let go. And then take your legs out wide apart for Prasarita Padottanasana. Legs are straight. So all those things that we've been talking about, can you extend down through your heels? Can you extend down through the balls of your feet? Can you feel like somebody's pulling on that big toe to make it go a little bit longer rather than kind of crunching in? Press down through your big toe. Now you've got strong legs, because there's that movement down into the earth to help you to lift up, take yourself out and over. Again, this is much more about your legs than it is about how far down you get yourself. Keep using your legs and you will get yourself closer to your head being on the floor. And I'm just checking to make sure that my feet are parallel. And then use that strength through your legs to come back up to standing. Good. So it's interesting that as I've been doing these Facebook Live classes, I've been learning, and I often watch my feet, and I'm finding that I think it's my right foot doesn't like to go parallel as much. So I just want to let you know that I'm aware of that. And so when I say feet parallel and then one of my feet is not, or I say right or left foot turned in and one of those feet is not listening to my instruction, that's all part of the awareness and the practice. Now that I've told you, you will probably look for that all the time. Get your block or your book, and you're going to come near a wall. or if you have to use a chair, you're actually going to try to balance here. Well, you don't really have to balance because I want us to be here for about a minute. You're going to stand on that block or that book, and then you're going to press down through that whole foot into the block. Get that leg as straight as possible. You can have one finger on the wall. The other leg is just kind of there dangling. And this is all about, if you remember from last week, we talked about that outer thigh moving in towards your inner thigh, that lifting up through the front of your thigh, that strength in your upper leg, and then also pay attention to what's happening through that foot. And just keep breathing. Again, it's not so necessary to balance. Right now it's more about feeling how straight you can get that leg, how strong you can be through your whole body. And breathe, and breathe. And yes, this is your standing leg for your tree pose. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and come off. And just have a little bit of awareness. And it may not be that that leg feels tired, but maybe you feel a little bit of strength there. Same thing on the other side. So you're actually going to turn so that the inside leg is the one that's sort of dangling. So I'm going to turn to the back, but then I might just turn around the other way. So you stand on the block, try to get as much of your foot on the block as you can. The other leg is dangling. As you press down into the block, keep feeling that lift up, and breathe, and breathe. And as you feel that lifting up through the strength of that foot, through that leg, keep going. I just want to make sure my voice goes out to you. And can you feel that ability to get taller, to get more open in your hip? And this would be your standing leg for any balance pose that you do. Half moon, or your number 3. Even that Garudasana, that eagle pose, even though your legs are bent. So I keep talking because we have about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then go ahead and release. And you might take just a little walk around. Notice your legs. Notice your torso. Maybe how strong, open, maybe how weak. Looking at your watch. When is this going to be over with? Not yet. So, one of the ways that I like to teach tree pose, and I'm going to start near the wall. A wall is really helpful for this. And see how much you can bring that left leg up way high into your thigh. You're then going to have to shimmy yourself a little bit towards the wall. So I don't want you too close. I don't want you too far away. So your knee is just kind of getting some support at that wall to kind of press that foot back into your inner thigh so that you can feel that outer thigh pressing back into your foot so that you can then feel that ability to lift up very tall. So this is one of the ways that we often put our hands, our palms, while we're in our tree pose. Some people like to take their arms up, but I find that this is maybe the way that people at the beginning are able to get that nice extension and use their arms. And then eventually people try to take their palms together, but remember those elbows that are squeezing in rather than collapsing out. If they start collapsing out, then just have your arms straight, because that's going to keep you more lifted through your torso. And that might be your best tree ever. Arms down, and then go ahead and same thing on the other side. So near your wall, go ahead and bring that other leg up. Press into that inner thigh, press through your outer thigh. Find where you need to be to get your knee. And even if you know that you can balance, it's kind of nice to just see how much more openness across, extension through you might be able to get by using that wall to help you. You can take your hands into position at your chest. You can take your hands into up over your head, but keep that action going. Keep that action going through your standing leg, through the leg that's pressing into your thigh. Breathe. And then go ahead and bring your arms back down. Good. Take one more downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is kind of a palate cleanser pose, we used to call it. It's also a way that in case you were collapsing or crunching too much in your spine, you can now get that length to come back through your spine. Feel your outer elbows pressing in towards your inner elbows to straighten your arms, to open your chest. And then imagine that you are extending out through that strap that's on heels, that's on the balls of your feet. So you're pressing down into the floor and even pressing your big toes down into your mat. Go ahead and bend your knees and come down. Come back to standing. And so, of course, we need to do a tree pose, full out. So most of you have probably done a tree pose before. You're welcome to take any of those helpful variations that I did, hopefully helpful. Or go ahead and you can take your tree pose as you would like. Another option is once you get your weight shifted to the other side, but this isn't shifted, this is collapsing, shifted but still lifting up, you can bring your leg up not using your hand at all. And for some people that might actually be even a little bit more difficult. And this may be where your leg goes because that's what your hip allows. So sometimes it's kind of interesting to see how high you can get that leg without using your hand. Now I know it looks like my foot is on my knee right now, but I'm actually just pressing through my heel. And go ahead and try the other side, using a hand or not, just experimenting. So oftentimes there's debate about whether this leg needs to be out to the side. And eventually, yes, but not at the cost of collapsing in our hip. So that means, what can you do to open up in that hip, which may actually take your knee a little bit more at an angle. At least that's the way that we've taught this in the Iyengar tradition right now. So just play with that. And then as this gets more open, you might be able to get that extension. Good. And then go ahead and release, have a seat, and then take your legs out wide apart, sit on some height. It could be a block, it could be a blanket, it doesn't have to be anything. If you have your chair, you can actually use your chair as we're going to do a twist to the right, a twist to the left, and then down the center. But the main thing that I want you to pay attention to is, yes, it's as if you have each of your feet against an imaginary floor or wall, so that you're feeling that extension through your heel, through the ball of your foot, and that extension through your big toe, as well as that movement through that big toe pad into a surface. From there, go ahead and take a twist around to your right, so right arm goes back behind, left arm is in front. Let yourself be up straight. Extend through both of your legs and see if that helps you to get a little bit more openness and spacing in your hips so that you can actually feel yourself twisting more. Even though the purpose isn't to twist more, it's to twist smarter. Come back to the center. Go ahead and keep extending out through that left leg as you take that twist around to your left. Can you feel that movement out that gives you more space in your hip, that gives you more ability to extend through your torso? Breathe. Come back to the center. Now it's as if you have both legs pressing into some kind of a surface. Somebody comes and they put a 2x4 right here on your foot, and they're pressing into the 2x4, and you're fighting and you're trying to press out into that 2x4, and you say, wow, that really gives me a little bit more extension and space in here. And that is part of how I am also balancing in my standing balance poses. So again, any of these positions are acceptable. It's all about where your body is. The point is more to get this, not this. And then go ahead and bring yourselves back up. Bring your legs back together again. Really nice job. A lot of focus for balance. Go ahead and lie down on your mat to take Shavasana. Arms out by your side. Legs release and let go. When you have your arms out by your side, allow your palms to face up. And just let your focus go into every part of your body. Your eyes are closed. Your breath is moving freely and easily in and out through your nose. And you might give a little bit of a release through your right leg, a little bit of a release through your left leg, maybe a little bit of an extension and release through your right arm, an extension and release through your left arm, and then just see where your body settles as you breathe and let go. Maybe being aware of anything that you notice in your body that's different, that gets your attention. We don't want it to be something uncomfortable, but it may be. We have to be aware of everything. Well, we don't have to, but it's a good idea. So as you take this next breath in, allow your eyes to open. Let your knees bend as you bring your feet onto the floor. Roll over to your side. yourself back up into a sitting position. And you can bring your palms up and namaste. Thank you very much for coming. Like I said, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I will see you next week on Monday. We have 20 classes happening right now. Feel really free to go to any and all, and then they're saved and you can watch them again. I look forward to seeing many of you back at the JCA, or I'll continue to see you online. Thank you very much. Have a great day.